This video contains content related to death, human remains, and suicide. Wellbeing resources are available in the description below. A Mortician's Tale is one of 1,741 games in the itch.io bundle for racial justice and equality. I am Loki and I'm delving into said bundle with A Mortician's Tale. A Mortician's Tale is a story-driven, death-positive video game where you play as a mortician tasked with running a funeral home. Take on the role of recent funeral direction graduate Charlie as she learns the ropes of the business and industry. Prepare the bodies of the deceased via embalming or cremation, attend their funerals and listen to their loved ones' stories, and interact with Charlie's co-workers, clients, and bosses. A Mortician's Tale is an informative, honest, and sometimes humorous look at the current state of and the future of the Western death industry. That is what the little page does indeed say about A Mortician's Tale, and I've heard very, very good things. Very, very, very good things about this indeed, so I'm extremely, extremely excited to see what A Mortician's Tale is all about. Okay, September 14th, 10:15 in the morning. Coffee time. Hello there. I'm going to click on this. Yes. I'm a little bit slow to wiggle over there, but hello. Hello there! Oh, I've got lots of emails. Hello and welcome to our new funeral director. Welcome, Charlie. Nice to meet you. My name's Matthew, and I'm mainly going to be the man who delivers the bodies to you and helps with some of the more heavy lifting. If you hear that joke about a hearse driver, I'll tell it to you when I come by in a bit. Looking forward to working together. I think you'll enjoy working here. Amy's a sweetheart, but she runs a tight ship. Nothing you can't handle, I'm sure. She wouldn't have hired you otherwise. Cheers and good luck. Matthew J., the funeral director of Rose and Daughters Funeral Home. Okay, and we've got some other bits and pieces. Amy Rose. Hello, Charlie. Well, you're new here, so it's probably best I explain where everything is. In your office and preparation room, you'll find your cremation station, cremulator station, embalming station, and obviously, since you're reading this email, your desk and computer area. I know you have experience working with these stations, but please let me know if you have any questions. Best, Amy Rose, the founder and director. From Jen. Oh, this seems to be a little bit more of a personal email, because they seem to be, you know, less sort of like professional here. Let's see. I guess my subject lines to you should start being more professional now. There we go. Yeah, now that we are business professionals. I can't wait to get your reply so I can see you a fancy new email signature. Ooh, I love that you were able to land this gig straight after graduating. It sounds super cool. I don't even know mum and pop funeral homes were a thing until now. Guess it's just not something I really think much about. I should look more into this, learn more about your world and industry, because as I said, you are now a very serious professional. Speaking of being a professional, my museum gig is amazing. I cannot believe somebody paid me to move to London, and not London, ON, serial killer capital of Canada, to work in a museum. Like, take that, everyone who said I couldn't get a job with an art history degree. Heck you! I'll tell you more about it when we Skype. My stories require you to see my face, and that you hear my excellent British accent impersonation. Ooh. What? No. I can't do a British accent because I am British. Does that make sense? Don't know if that makes any sense. It's difficult to do a stereotypical British accent when you're British. Amy Rose, today's tasks. Okay. Reply with an auto response, which I can do. Hello, hope you're settled in okay. Matthew should have dropped off your first body for you to work on. He said you were really friendly and he's glad to have someone young and lively to work with. You'll get used to his sense of humour. Your first body is Mrs. Garcia. They're referring to them as bodies, but they were people, though. Is Mrs. Garcia, an elderly woman who died suddenly of a heart attack. The family has asked for a closed casket funeral, apologise, tripping over words, so no embalming or body preparation is necessary. The family seems a little bit more united than previous families we've dealt with. Strange how grief affects people differently. Perhaps having more time to say goodbye makes things a bit easier if that's possible. That being said, although you will not be embalming Mrs. Garcia, I do think it's important to take the time to clean her body. No one is going to see her body, but I like to encourage my funeral directors to do this out of respect for the deceased and their loved ones, of course. You'll find Mrs. Garcia in the prep room, and we will do the auto-response, so I'll just quickly read this. Funerals Monthly Tips for Good Etiquette. Here we go. Thanks for subscribing. Each month we bring you a new newsletter featuring a topic pertaining to the death industry. This month is all about good etiquette for attending a funeral. I really can't believe we have to write this one out, but since we said we'll answer your most popular questions, here we are, because this is definitely one of the most popular ones. Funerals are a hard time, of course. I've been to more than my fair share of funerals. Yeah, and we understand that. But here are some quick and easy rules to remember for being respectful at a funeral. Generally following the guidelines of don't be a jerk should work. 1. Don't be on your cell phone. We understand that you're busy, but this is a time and a place to disengage. If you have to be on your cell phone, don't do so inside the funeral home. 2. Don't be loud and obnoxious. Of course, you can share happy stories, but other people are also grieving and working through their own healing process. Being quiet gives other people space they might need. Don't get drunk. It's just that simple. Everyone can deal with their feelings in their own ways. Just remember to be respectful when with the grieving family and friends. Happily reminisce. Sometimes remembering happy moments and positive experience with the deceased can be a productive part of the healing process. 5. Give condolences. Of course. It's not easy knowing what to say to someone, but even a simple "I'm thinking of you" can go a long way. Dress appropriately. What this looks like will change based on the customs of the deceased and their culture, but always dress in a way that shows respect to the deceased and their grieving family. And number 8, give a gift or sign the registration book. This can be flowers or a nice card, but it's the thought that counts here. Sometimes this can be even just cooking dinner for the grieving family. Anything that shows you care and want to help them through the healing process is what matters here. Be kind and be helpful. So these are just good tips in general when like attending a funeral. I mean, that's the whole point of it. But what I mean basically is like not only in universe does this make sense, but just if you ever have to attend a funeral, and unfortunately it's a fact of life, we do. These are very, very good tips. Rose and Daughters. Here we go. Here's a bit of information about the funeral home that we're at. About Rose and Daughters. Rose and Daughters Funeral Home was founded by my grandparents back in 1956. The Rose family has proudly served the area since then, providing personal, affordable funeral services for something I've never gotten. Like, you die and then they take money from you because you're dead. I've never got that. It bamboozles my brain. I'm proud to have carried on my family's business for the last 36 years, working with the best and brightest funeral directors and grief counsellors in the area. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you've recently experienced a loss and would like us to help you through this hard time. Our services? Oh, that's expensive, but I will get to that. Here at Rose and Daughters Funeral Home, we're committed to providing loved ones with the best and most affordable funeral services in the area. We offer a diverse range of personalised funeral services, options to every need. Burial with open casket ceremony and reception, $5,985. It makes me so angry. It makes me so angry that it's so expensive. Burial with closed casket ceremony, $4,200. Cremation with ceremony and reception, $1,700. Direct burial with no ceremony or reception, $1,905 all inclusive. Or direct cremation with no ceremony or reception, $600 all inclusive. It costs $600 just to put me in the ground. It just makes me so angry. It makes me so angry, the fact that inevitably when I'm gone, a loved one's going to have to pay for me to be put in the ground. It just... it angers me a lot, and I'm going to go off on a tirade if I don't stop there. It upsets me, because it's like, you've already got grieving family and loved ones, and then you've got the whole sort of like monetary thing where they're then having to struggle with that as well, and it's just things on things on things, and it's just ridiculous. We also offer custom packages to suit every budget and need. Please do not hesitate to contact us with any questions. Let's get set with today's tasks. Sure thing, I'll get right to it and not ramble and go off on a tirade. So here we go. We have to clean this person and ready for their closed casket. Hello, this is the prep room where you'll prepare bodies for burials and viewings. Because the family has requested a closed casket ceremony with no embalming, you're just going to clean the body. Click on the sponge and drag it over the body to clean it. This is the sponge. There we go. Clean. Nice and clean. There we go. And that's it, you're done. Mrs. Garcia will be sent to Mike, who will take care of dressing and putting her in the casket. There we go. It's time to go to Mrs. Garcia's funeral. You're responsible for taking care of the deceased's body, but it is also important to pay respects to their loved ones. Follow the arrow to head to the funeral parlour. Very well. It's just, I don't want to break down. I don't want to break down. Hello. My condolences. My condolences. Yeah, I heard the family specifically said no embalming. I thought it was mandatory, like required by law, but I guess not. Embalming weirds me out. Do those chemicals leach into the ground? Seems strange to be using a chemical that is known to cause cancer and putting it into the ground like that. Or into the sewer. That's what they must do with the leftover formaldehyde, right? Just pour it down the drain. That's not what they do. They have to chemically treat it. At least embalming guarantees you won't be buried alive. Stop it. Don't make me laugh right now. I guess that's their way of grieving. Hello? It's especially difficult for a child, yeah. They just don't... Not that they don't understand, but it's It's difficult. It's difficult for a child to process it. I guess it's difficult for an adult to process this sort of thing. Hello. I hate wearing pantyhose. My legs are so itchy, but it's always so cold in these funeral homes. I think I might actually miss those sweaters she used to knit for me now. Aww. We usually don't small talk a lot of these things. At least that's what I was always taught. There we go. She would have hated these paintings. She was so particular. Yeah, at least she doesn't have to see them, I guess. That's, yeah, I guess. Paying respects. There we go. October 11th, 9 past 10 in the morning. More coffee, please. I'm gonna need it. Okay, hello there. What is today all about? This bright new morn. Hello. I am so frustrated right now. From Jennifer. Okay, so let me explain this in a bit more detail. A colleague and I were discussing the tight laces liver specimen we have here at the museum. It's from a woman who died in 1907. Damn. And the liver is tapered inwards from what the doctor leading the autopsy believed was too tight lacing on her corset. It's fascinating because it's kind of a controversial topic. Tight lacing was super popular, and while people associated it with fainting or hysteria, that is silly, it's actually been associated with I'm going to massively mispronounce this, visceroptosis, okay, which is when the organs fall to the lower part of the abdomen, which is super unsettling but can also be caused by being pregnant. So, too long didn't read. Of course, it's probably messed up some bones, yes, but likely didn't do this kind of internal organ damage. And I'm tired of the condescension about my wardrobe that also implies I don't know what I'm doing. These are the kinds of things I specifically research, and yet I'm treated like I know nothing about. I'm having a day, Charlie. It's basically somebody, yeah, maybe like mansplaining. From Amy, just passing this message along. Thanks for the hard work, Charlie. Okay. From Mia Garcia, so this would be the daughter. Hi Amy, please pass along our deepest thanks to you and your staff for the wonderful job they did with our mother's funeral. It was really lovely. Our family so rarely gets together. It was nice seeing everyone come out for such a beautiful service. My son never gets to see his family. Also, it was incredibly kind of you to let us bring our own food in. Getting to share home-cooked meals, sharing stories, being there together, it meant a lot. So what I'm saying is, it was nice for everyone to be there like that. Together in that way. And I know how much of that was due to the work of your staff, especially your funeral director. Thank you for making the difficult time easier for all of us. Best, from Mia. And from Matthew Jeffrey. Hey there, Charlie. I was driving around the other day, taking our clients on their last trip around town, and I was thinking, strange I know, did I ever tell you the first time I went to a funeral? I was a teenager, about to start university, and a friend of mine was killed in a car accident, totally out of the blue. Really tragic stuff, missed me and my friends up real good. But, so, the big day. We all got into our best suits and dresses and packed ourselves into a few cars. There were lots of us, so we had at least 3 different cars full of us, like clown cars, We were in the procession going to the cemetery. Somebody in our car got a phone call from a friend in a different car. Turns out some driver who doesn't know to not get in the way of the procession drove through the intersection and smashed straight into our friend's car. Nobody was hurt, thank God, but can you imagine getting that call? Anyways, one of my friends in the same car as me, the one who got the phone call, hung up and started laughing. Just laughing her arse off in the way that makes you not sure if they're really just crying or if they've gone off the deep end. And she laughed. And then we all started giggling because, go figure, life is messed up sometimes, There's no moral, no point to that story, I guess. I just remembered that story and I wanted to tell you, because we work with death all the time, and I still sometimes get caught off guard by what that actually means. Before you get any ideas, that has nothing to do with why I became a funeral director. That decision came totally later and is nothing unremarkable. Somebody has to do it and have a strong stomach, so why not? See you in a bit, Charlie. And from Funerals Monthly again. What to wear when you're attending a funeral from a different culture. Okay, so I don't actually know that much about this because although my family isn't Christian, they've always had funerals that are led by a Christian pastor. So yeah, I don't really know that much about funerals from different cultures. We all know everyone wants to be respectful at funerals. Don't talk too loudly, be kind, smile, and refrain from making inappropriate jokes, at least around the grieving family. Hey, sometimes some people do need a little bit of a pick-me-up during such hard times, who are we to judge? And a big part of that is knowing what to wear. Roman Catholic funerals tend to lean more to the formal black attire rule, and it works for us. Did you know this goes back to the days of the Roman Empire, where people would wear black as a symbol for mourning? Black isn't universally the symbol for mourning, though. And if you're attending a funeral that is from a culture not your own, it's important to understand this. Some colours have different meanings, and despite your best intentions, the wrong choice could mean accidental offence. For example, in Hinduism and Chinese cultures, white is a typical colour for funerals. I did not know that. For Islam, though, it's less about the colour you are wearing and more about how modestly you are dressed. Refrain from wearing any elaborate jewellery, be respectful of your behaviour. For Sikh funerals, colour of the clothing isn't as important as is dressing modestly and being able to appropriately sit cross-legged, so I need to remember this. White is typical colour for Hinduism and Chinese culture funerals. Islam is about modestly dressing, and with Sikh funerals, again, it's about dressing modestly and being able to sit appropriately. Actually, being respectful is just the number one rule for any funeral, no matter what, really. Remember that, and please don't hesitate to ask what is and isn't appropriate to wear. If you're attending to support a friend, family member, or partner, this day is not about you, so be sure to do whatever you can to be as respectful and supportive as possible. Even if that means not wearing what you're used to wearing at a funeral, or even if it just means asking how you can, be appropriate and dress properly. From Amy. Hi Charlie, here are the instructions for your next body. You did a remarkable job on this one. The family was very happy with you. No small feat, of course. Pleasing a grieving family isn't exactly the most comfortable of jobs. Your next job is a man named Mr. Duvall. An elderly man died of old age. Nothing fancy, just a standard funeral with embalming. You can reach out to his daughter Lizzie Duvall if you have any questions. She's handling her father's passing as well as can be expected. As always, do not hesitate to ask me any questions. Amy. P.S. Charlie dear, please remember to wear proper embalming gear. Formaldehyde is extremely dangerous. I know I don't need to tell you, but my maternal instincts are hard to ignore. I promise I won't mother you too much. Well, just ask a little. Ask Matthew. He knows. So she is going to be a little bit motherly. A little bit motherly, indeed. Okay, I'll get right on it. Okay. Formaldehyde is dangerous. Gotta wear all this, because, as somebody mentioned, formaldehyde is a cancerous agent. It can cause cancer in the body, so you gotta be careful of that. Very careful indeed. Traditional burials typically require embalming, which preserves the body and prevents it from decomposing as quickly. Unless the family requests otherwise, all traditional burials will use embalming. Let's start by cleaning the body again. Okay. So again, we've just got to do this. There we go. And shave it. There we go. In order to break rigor mortis, you have to massage the body. Click and drag over the body to massage it. I kind of knew that, but it didn't really occur to me right now. There we go. Because, yeah, when you die, of course, your body stops producing ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate. It's basically like the fuel that your cells use, and that is required to actually make muscles flexible. It's responsible for what causes the contraction in muscles. So as your body is no longer producing ATP, it can no longer regulate the muscles. So you fix up, and your muscles tense. So that is why rigor mortis is a thing. There we go. You know, I did undergraduate biochemistry for a few years at university, so that's how I know about that's how I know about the effects of rigor mortis on the body. The eyeballs deflate once the body starts decomposing. Click and drag an eye cap into each socket to give it shape. So yeah, this is another thing. It's really quite uncomfortable. Yeah, you got to put eye caps underneath the eyeballs, or put the cap on the eye and then put the eyelid over the eye. It's very uncomfortable. So it actually gives it shape. To keep the eyes shut, you'll need to glue them. Click and drag the glue onto each eye to shut it. There we go. The mouth sags and hollows once the body starts decomposing. Click and drag a cotton ball into the mouth to give it shape. Again, it's just... It sounds really dark, but it's just a matter of fact. This is how bodies are prepared. To keep the mouth from opening, you'll need to suture it shut. Click and drag the needle and thread over the jaw to close it. Like so. Click and drag the lotion over the body to moisturise it. This prevents the skin from drying out. There we go. And again, if it's an open casket, of course you want the body to be presentable. There we go. Embalming involves removing blood and replacing it with preserving chemicals. Click and drag the scalpel over the neck to make an incision. You're going to need a tube for draining the blood. Click on the tube and drag it into the neck incision. There we go. Oh, is that right? You're going to need to click on the tube and drag it. Oh, wait, do I not have the right one? There it is, the cannula. Is that right? No. Trocar... Oh, no, the tubing. Sorry. There we go. Click on the cannula and drag it onto the carotid artery. So there's the cannula and... Where's the... Oh, I'm terrible with the carotid artery. The carotid artery is... There you go. Sorry, I cannot remember off the top of my head what the different arteries are. It's just like my brain's dying. Now you'll need to connect the embalming machine to the cannula. Grab some additional tubing and drag it to the cannula. Grab some additional tubing and drag it to the cannula. Yeah, I've got the tubing. There we go. Click the button on the embalming machine to turn it on. There you go. In order to evenly distribute the chemicals, you have to massage them through the body. Click and drag over the body to massage it. There we are. Down here. And across. And down. And down. And across. And once more. Oh, I tell a lie. We're almost there, and almost all of it. There we go. Great. Now let's sew up the incision. Click and drag the needle and thread over the incision to close it. So needle and thread is here. Almost done. You'll need to drain the organs of any remaining fluids. Click on the trocar and then click and hold on the abdomen until the liquid has been drained. Hold. There we go. Click and hold. So this is actually removing liquid from the organs. There we are. And you're done. Mike will take care of Mr. Duval's makeup as well as dressing and putting him in the casket. It's time to attend the funeral. There we go. And one other thing that has just popped into my head, I remember that in cremations, if you do have an open casket funeral, they will of course dress the cadaver in formal attire with watch and everything. However, when actually having to cremate the body, they actually have to remove the watch because they can explode inside the cremating machines inside the crematorium. So they actually have to remove parts of sort of like their attire because otherwise it can be damaging to the machinery. And I know that because of an infographics video. Such an odd thing, such an odd thing. Okay, I am wearing the appropriate tie. I was a bit worried there for a second. It came out of nowhere. I mean, it always sort of does, doesn't it? Yeah, 1 minute you're laughing, having fun, and then the next person's just gone. Just gone. It's weird to think about that for too long. Like, staring at the sun. I start to feel all fuzzy when I think about it. Weird. How our bodies just stop working like that. Yeah. So strange not seeing most people wearing white. White? Yeah, I think it's different for different family members. I can't remember. I haven't gone to many traditional funerals, so mostly white. But, like, definitely not red, no matter what. He always wanted to take his grandkids to the park, play catch. He loved playing catch. He threw a mean curveball, that's for sure. Hello, are you okay over here? Humming to themselves. There we go. December 2nd, 10:22 AM. Coffee time again. Hello. Apologies if I am going quiet at certain sections, just like... even though I know this is a video game, there's still part of me that's like, I want to be respectful of the funeral. Even though the person doesn't even exist, it's just... it's a core emotion just to be respectful at these sorts of things. Cremation! Hello Charlie, today's funeral is for a woman who died from breast cancer. Nothing fancy, just a standard cremation. Please don't hesitate to ask me if you have any questions. And Amy again. Passing on this lovely thank you note. Hi Amy, thank you for your wonderful evening. I can't hecking speak, I'm getting emotional. Thank you for the wonderful evening you and your staff put together for my father's funeral. He wasn't always an easy man to get along with, but I'm glad to have seen him off in such a kind way. Meet cutes for death positive cuties. What? Charlie, I was doing some reading. I know you hate when I try to give you dating advice, but hear me out. There's this dating site that's specifically for people working in the death industry. Wait. Okay, so maybe I'm a little worried for you. You haven't mentioned anybody new since the breakup of 2014 that we will never speak of again after this moment. But you're always saying how tired you get of people being scared to ask about your day, so maybe meeting somebody in the industry isn't the worst idea. Just promise me you'll consider it, okay? It's harder for me to make sure you're seeing sunlight when I'm all the way across the ocean. I know you look like a babe with pale skin and witchy gothy aesthetics are super hot right now, but vitamin D is still a good thing. It is. Seriously, we all need more vitamin D in our lives. Mum rant over, I'm going to try it out because turns out people get super scared off when you tell them you work in a museum filled with dead bodies. Do you know how not interesting other people find teratomas? Charlie, I didn't know we were this weird to outside people. I've been spoiled by having a best friend who is much of a weirdo as I am. Miss you. Let's grab a bottle of wine for our next Skype date. P.S. If you sign up for Dead Meat, isn't that the best name for a death industry dating website? Dead Meat. Ugh, I don't like it. Tinder rules apply. You have to like me if you come across my profile or whatever. I'm not sure how it works just yet, though. Jen L., Museum Curator, London Pathology Museum. Very well. And Matthew again. I don't like the look of this, not one bit. I know you've only been with us for a few months, but maybe you're aware of the trouble Amy has been having. A small mum and pup shop like Rose and Daughters can't compete with the bigger guys. Anyway, don't tell Amy I sent this to you. Also, I'm starving, so I'm going to grab some fast food before taking the hearse to the car wash. 2 birds, 1 stone. And swinging back to the home. Do you want anything? A beef and cheddar? I'm going to take the hearse through the drive-thru. Of course, it freaks people out. I love it. They get so awkward. He's got a really dark sense of humour. Let me know, I'm heading out in 15 minutes. And Funerals Respect from Funerals Monthly. If you've been a long-time subscriber to our emails or follow us on social media, you've no doubt heard about the misgendering that transgender people are at times subjected to during their funerals. Oh boy, I'm going to have a fight if this starts getting into that. There have been notable situations where trans women have had their wishes overruled by their families and have had their hair cut, are buried under the wrong names and subjected to the wrong pronouns in their obituary announcements. I'm going to fight someone. We care a lot about this because we believe in treating every person with the same level of compassion, respect, and care. And this absolutely extends to pronouns and respecting the deceased's wishes as per their lived experiences. The CDC's Funeral Director's Handbook on Death Registration and Fetal Death Reporting offers this fraud directive. Enter male or female based on observation. Do not abbreviate or use other symbols. If sex cannot be determined after verification with medical records, inspection of the body or other sources enter unknown. Do not leave this item blank. Leaving it up to observation obviously enters into a world of issues since bodies can be so different, and because of ingrained bias, people can draw incorrect assumptions based on their own inaccurate observations. California has passed what is known as the Respect After Death Act, which states that the death certificate must reflect the deceased's gender identity as they lived it, so a step in the right direction. People who are trans deserve the same respect in death that people who are cisgender receive. Yes, we bloody well do. Misgendering in death takes away this respect. It can also inflict hurt and trauma on spouses and friends that survive the deceased. So what can we do as funeral directors? Listen to the people who come into your office. That hecking simple. In America, especially, some marriages may not be recognised as legal depending on the laws around same-sex marriage, but this does not mean you're not dealing with 2 people who have loved each other in the same way as another couple. Listen, learn, and always be respectful. While you have to work with the next of kin, your duty is also to ensure the deceased receives the utmost respect in their burial. If a funeral is to honour the deceased, then do that. Honour them. Okay. Today's funeral is for a woman who died from breast cancer. Nothing fancy, standard cremation. Okay. Very well. Oh, I'm gonna fight someone. Sorry, that hadn't even occurred to me, and now I'm like heckin' ready to throw fists. Before we cremate Mrs. Hall, we need to prepare her body. Okay. Mrs. Hall's family brought clothing and jewelry for her to wear. It's important to remove those before the cremation process as to not damage them. So yeah, it's not damaging the jewelry, and also if the jewelry were to go into the I can't remember the name of it, the crematorium thing, it would also damage that as well. Of course, it's more so about the jewelry not being damaged because it's heirlooms. But it can also damage, of course, as mentioned, the machine, but also the body. I know it's been cremated, but you still don't want to do unnecessary damage. Again, it's just about honouring the person, right? It's just about honouring them. Let's start by removing Mrs. Hall's necklace. Very well. We need to be able to identify Mrs. Hall's remains after she's been cremated. Click and drag the round identification tag and place it in the coffin. So this one. There we go. Great. Mrs. Hall is all set to be cremated now. So yeah, that little tag basically tells you whose ashes are whose, because otherwise it would be an absolute nightmare. That is actually a nightmare of mine, that if I do get cremated, like, loved ones won't get my ashes. Oh heck. Oh, that is terrifying. So yeah. There we go. There we are. And then we've got the urn over here. Very well. This is the cremulator. Contrary to popular belief, a cremation doesn't turn bodies into ash so much as bone fragments. Okay. Using the cremulator, we break these bone fragments down to ash-like remains. Let's start by placing the urn in the cremulator. So, click on the urn and drag it under the nozzle. There we are. Click and drag the bone fragments and drop them into the top of the cremulator. So, bone fragment. Bone fragment. Bone fragment. Okay, now that all the bones have been processed, click and drag the urn back onto the counter. Make sure to put Mrs. Hall's necklace back into the urn. Click on the necklace and drag it. Here we are. Oh. I apologise. Here we go. Don't forget the tag. Click on the round identification tag and drag it to the urn also. Last step. Click on the urn's lid and drag it to the top. Here we are. All done. Amy will take the urn to the funeral parlour and present it alongside some flowers. It is a very pretty urn, I do have to say that. It's extremely pretty. It's a weird sentence to say, but it is very pretty. Here we go. Hello. This is nice in a weird way. She'd like that we're all here talking. She always tried to keep the family together. The food is delicious. I know that's weird, but these crab cakes are perfect. Again, people focus on some very strange things at a funeral. The food. Why would you focus on the food? Glad she was cremated, not in like an open casket or something. Seeing her like that, I don't know if I could have. At least we all got to say goodbye. She would have liked that. She fought really hard. She's proud of herself. She never gave up. Not once. She would have hated this music. She never wanted her funeral to be sad. She would have wanted us smiling. She said so. And let's pay our respects. There we are. Yeah, some people want their funerals to be a happy occasion, to celebrate their life. February 14th, 10:14 AM. Okay. Here we go. News about the future of Rose and Daughters Funeral Home. Hi all, it is with a very heavy heart that I write to let you all know that Rose and Daughters will no longer be in business. I had no idea how to start this email, and resources I googled told me that would be the best and easiest way to break the ice. Be direct but remorseful, Google said. And the truth is, I don't really know what to say. Since my father passed away, I've done my best to make Rose and Daughters warm and friendly to anyone who chose to use our services. It was my memorial to him, the original Rose in a lot of ways, and you've all become like family, including you, Charlie, our most recent addition. But it's been getting harder to make ends meet. Rent is going up in the neighbourhood, and I'm finding less and less like I have the energy for the business. There's a lot of competition from other funeral homes, larger corporations than we are, that can take on more business and offer more impressive services. You know the way it goes. So we've been bought, or I sold, either way, soon. Hillside Heritage Enterprises Inc., a company that owns many funeral homes in the city and across the country, will replace Rose and Daughters starting from the beginning of next month. Same building, excuse me, phone, no rude. It's about being respectful, remember? Same building, same name. They're keeping the name Rose and Daughters Funeral Home for tax purposes. Though honestly, I'm trying hard not to, just see it as a move on their part to keep up the image that it's a family-run business. I don't know how I feel about that, but I also don't know if there's anything I can do at this point either. I've signed the papers. At least my father's legacy is still intact. Somewhat. They have a good reputation and have agreed to keep you all on. That was one of my stipulations. I would sell as long as you all weren't without a job. Sorry I didn't tell you in a more personal way. I would have loved to have a company lunch, but admittedly, I didn't have the heart to tell you in person. This was easier for me. Please understand. And Charlie, I thought you'd like to see this thank you note. Hi, Amy. I am so eternally grateful that you were able to accommodate our requests for my sister's funeral. It was a beautiful service and she would have been happy with it. Such a weird thing to say, isn't it? Thank you again from the bottom of my heart. And from Amy, I thought I would forward this to you. In situations like this, we typically connect people like Ryan with a grief counsellor or other professionals who can really help him. Sometimes we get emails like this when people don't know where else to turn. It's difficult, and family isn't always the most reliable for some people. Usually, I would be happy to connect him, but I'm feeling a little tired today. Not my usual self, and it would be good for you to start building these kinds of relationships on your own. You're a treasure, Charlie. Okay, I don't know what to do. From Ryan. Hi, Amy. I know this email might be a bit odd, but you said if I was ever having troubles, I should reach out and you would know somebody I could talk to about all of this. I just don't know what to do now. I know my grandmother has lived a full, good life and was very happy and that she's not in any pain now, but still, I feel empty, Amy. I've never felt this empty before. What am I supposed to do now? I thought I was stronger than this. Can you refer me to someone to talk to? I don't want to freak out my mum right now. She's dealing with enough, with work and the will, and trying to just be the best mum she can. I just need somebody to tell me that it'll be okay. Thank you, and I'm sorry for being an inconvenience. Not at all. From Jen. A challenger approaches. Charlie, I've been playing a new game when things are slow at work. It's called Tales from the Crypt Sweeper. Tales from the Crypt Sweeper. Get it? It's like Minesweeper, but way harder. Like, seriously, it's really, really difficult. And I thought my Minesweeper game was on point after working that overnight front desk job at the hotel for 3 years. But I must have gotten rusty. Anyways, instead of mines, you want to avoid graves so you don't disturb the adorable ghosts. The main character also kind of looks like you. Want to start a healthy competition? High score gets to pick the restaurant we go to when one of us is in town next. Aww. I like that. Tales from the Crypt Sweeper. That's cute. Funerals monthly. Keep on protecting Earth with green burials. You've lived your life mindful of the environment, doing your part to reduce pollution, and generally help out where you can. So why not continue doing that even in death? At least that's the thinking for a lot of people who are turning to green or natural burials. Natural ceremonies are becoming more popular and are focused on new rules. Mainly, it's that bodies aren't allowed to be embalmed with chemicals that can damage the environment, and bodies must be buried in biodegradable shroud or casket. Not only is this better for the environment, it's also cheaper. At Union Cemetery in Otaro, Canada, a natural burial is just over $1,000. So better for the people, the environment, maybe not so good for big business. Let's not forget, people, this is still a business after all. But really, why go green? Green burials help preserve natural resources, work to reduce carbon emissions, protect the health of those preparing bodies, and restore/preserve natural habitats. Embalming fluids tend to contain formaldehyde, and funeral directors report a higher incidence of leukemia. Going green and not using toxic chemicals for embalming helps protect funeral directors, while at the same time lessening the impact we have on the environment after we're gone. We here at Funerals Monthly think green burials are pretty cool. What do you think? Reply and let us know. Very well. Cremation. Pacemaker? Hi Charlie, please see the note below about the pacemaker. They can be tricky, okay? Hi Amy, you asked if there were any special instructions we wanted to pass along. Just please cremate my father. He has a pacemaker too. The doctor told me that would need to be removed. Yeah, because the batteries can explode. Thanks, Mariana. Okay, sounds good, I'll take care of it. So we're actually going to have to remove the pacemaker. That's... straight again, having to do surgery on a deceased person feels weird. Mr. Race came directly from the hospital, so we don't have to worry about removing any valuables from him, as the family did not provide any for us to include. However, Mr. Race has a pacemaker that will need to be removed before cremation. Because pacemakers are batteries, they will explode inside the hot heat of the cremation machine, and we definitely don't want that. Let's start by removing Mr. Race's pacemaker. So we've got to drag the scalpel over. You can see the pacemaker. Click on the forceps to click and drag the pacemaker out. There we are. Put the forceps away, then place the round identification tag in the coffin. Here we are. Mr. Race is all set to be cremated now. Here we are, Mr. Race. There we go. And again, we have to go over to the cremulator and enter the bone fragments. Using the cremulator, we break down the bone fragments. So, here we are. There we go. And a bit of a simpler urn this time. Here we are. All done. Amy will take the urn to the funeral parlour and present it alongside some flowers. There we go. Very well. Did you ever end up clearing the air with your father? No, we talked a few times, but no, not really. He sounded like a difficult man. He was stubborn. That's just it. Stubborn. What do you want to do after this? It's pretty nice out. Let's change and go find a patio somewhere. Sounds good. I could really use a beer right now. Hey, did I ever tell you the time we tailgated? Oh, they're sharing stories. I always told him to quit smoking, but of course he never listened to me. So that figures. I'm sorry. I wonder if he ever liked me. He was nice to me, but I don't know. He never seemed like he really cared if I was there or not. No. Tell people you love them. Like, just day to day. Just let loved ones know that you love them. I can never tell Loki enough that I love them. February 28th, 10:35 AM. I can never tell Loki enough that I love them because it's just like... know that you are loved. I heckin' love you, Loki. Don't get emotional. Okay. Thought I'd pass this along to you. Hi Amy, I just wanted to thank you for the service the other month, and apologise if I was abrupt. It was kind of a shock for me, and I didn't feel comfortable with the whole process. He wasn't supposed to die yet. It hasn't been easy. Jen loves mushrooms, apparently. You hate mushrooms so much I found the perfect thing for you. I've been thinking about death. I know, shocker, look what you've done to me. I think I want this mushroom suit. I've heard of this. No, it's not called that, but I can't remember the name of it, and I'm writing you on my phone, so I don't feel like Googling it right now. Anyways, the idea is that it's a biodegradable suit that the deceased wears. It's made with what people call a biomix, i.e. mushrooms and other microorganisms that help to decompose bodies, neutralise toxins in the body, and provide nutrients for the soil and for plants. I think this one company even offers casket liners for using green caskets. I think this is what I want. It'd be just like Hannibal. Like, I don't know where you're going with your brain. Wait, don't tell people I said that, okay? But seriously, it's pretty cool. I love all the death innovation happening. We might as well do something when we're in the ground, you know? Love you, think about it, and let me know your thoughts. I want all of your thoughts. If it's not this, then maybe I'll have my ashes made into jewellery. Yeah, you can get your ashes made into a diamond. But seriously, I'm probably going to do this. There's no harm in planning ahead, am I right? So yeah, as they mentioned, it's like a biomix suit, and essentially as you decompose, it provides nutrients to that biomix, and yeah, mushrooms and other microorganisms then develop on your body. It's very strange to think about, but I mean, it could be useful. It could develop new sort of like life from your own. It's beautiful in a somewhat dark way. Yeah, things to avoid saying at a funeral. Welcome back. Now, we rarely do listicles here, but for this month's newsletter, we thought a listicle would be the best way to deliver this month's advice. What not to say at a funeral. We know figuring out the right thing to say to a grieving friend can be extremely difficult, and since that's such a personal issue, it's hard to give specific advice. Some things will be more comforting to other people. But fortunately, we can deliver a little bit more solid advice on what not to say to someone who is grieving. So here it is. Funeral Monthly's top 5 things to not say at a funeral. At least they're no longer suffering. Even if this is true, nobody wants to hear this, it's probably not your place to dictate this. Who wants to be told that the death of somebody they love is for the best? Like I said, even if it's true, don't be that jerk and just don't say it. Were they saved? No religious statements. Nope, don't. Just don't. Why? Because not everyone agrees with your religious views, and not only is it not always comforting, it can be quite insulting, and I'm getting angry again. They're with the angels now, just don't say that. Let me know how I can help. This one is tricky. You want to help, but those in mourning won't always ask for help. If you want to help, suggest specific things, for example. I'm free if you need someone to babysit the kids. Actions are better than passive statements. Cook something. Take them to their favourite restaurant, or buy tickets to see a movie together. I know how you feel. Just never say that. You never know how someone feels. Everybody's different. Even if you think you do, everyone grieves differently. Exactly. Don't focus this on yourself. Empathy doesn't involve having to commiserate. Sometimes people will want to hear your experiences, but don't assume they will. Ask first. For a quicker version of this list that can be applied in any situation, don't say stuff just for the sake of saying stuff. Just say, I'm sorry, if you don't know what else to say. Or, my condolences. I'm sorry, my condolences. Those are the 2 most basic things you can say without insulting someone. And it's still not necessarily something you want to hear. It was very frustrating for me when I was at funerals for loved ones where I would just continually hear, my condolences, or they're in a better place now. That one annoyed me. But, it's, yeah. Just, I don't want to get frustrated. From Amy, Charlie, I was hoping you wouldn't have to confront the situation, yet anyways, they're never easy. Rose and Daughters has been asked to prepare the body of a young man who took his own life. Okay. He had a will prepared and asked for cremation, but the families demanded a traditional burial instead. Unfortunately, he didn't make anyone his power of attorney, or didn't have any witnesses sign his living will, or his advance directive regarding these wishes, so his family is legally in the right to do whatever they want with his body. It's unfortunate, but we have to do as the family wishes. Matthew has graciously offered to take this on if you're uncomfortable with the subject. Instead, with a second body you can prepare for a funeral we're hosting later in the afternoon. Charlie, is this suicide something you're comfortable dealing with? Let me know, I'm here if you need me. I like how the game gives you a choice with this, because it's not something that is easy to deal with. It's a very difficult topic to talk about, and I have to be extremely thankful, and I am extremely impressed as well by the fact that the game didn't say committed suicide. I hate that phrase. Taking one's own life is how you phrase it, because it's not an illegal act. It's a choice. It's not ever the right thing to do, of course. There's always something you can do. There's always people to talk to. There's always services to go and use and try and talk through these feelings. And in fact, I'm going to put some suicide helplines in the description below, because this is a very, very difficult video, so I just want to put that down there just as a thing. So I'm just saying that right now, and I'll probably put that at the start of the video as well. I'll probably put a little content warning or something. But suicide is never an option as much as you may think it is, and from someone that has in the past had suicidal ideation, don't worry about me. I just want to say that right now. Do not worry. I found help. I'm on like antidepressant medication, all that jazz. But from somebody that has suffered from suicidal ideation, you're in a dark place, and you just have to desperately find something to get you out of that dark place. It's an extremely dark place. So we are going to do this. But again, I'm going to put some stuff in the description below. Suicide helplines for different countries, whether you're in the US, the UK. I'll try and find some European ones and some other ones, and also just some general sort of like help stuff, and just like mental health resources. I'll put that all down there just in case any of this has been a bit of a struggle. So here we go. So he wanted to be cremated, but unfortunately, yeah, his family, yeah, wanted an open casket funeral. Let's start by cleaning the body. Clean Mr. Scott's body. It feels really bad to have to do this against their wishes, but again, we're like, in terms of legal precedent, we don't have a choice. Shave the body. Drake rigor mortis. It's just, yeah. That's why having a will that is co-signed by witnesses is always incredibly important, so that your wishes after the fact are respected. Because everybody, of course, has different sort of like family situations, so it's never going to be always going to be sort of like the case where you can have your wishes. So I'm struggling a little. Where you can have your wishes respected. So yeah, you've got to make sure that you can have your wishes respected. Okay. There we go. There we are. Just sorting out the embalming machine right here. And across. And across. And back down again. And down. There we go. Sew the incision shut. And then use the trocar. There we go. All done. Mike will take care of Mr. Scott's makeup as well as dressing and putting him in the casket. Okay. Hello. Quiet sobs. I wish we were closer. Wow, I still can't believe this is real. My baby brother. I should have played more games with him when he asked. I heard it wasn't going to be an open casket. I'm surprised it's public. Usually funerals for these circumstances are more private. I still can't believe he did it. I feel like I should have known, you know, been able to do something to stop it. There was no way to know, you can't blame yourself. He wouldn't have wanted that. I know, it just hurts. March 3rd, 10:45 AM. So about 3 months after. Washing our pauses, and then coming back on over. It's always important to wash your pauses. From Chad Grant. We are pleased to bring on Rose and Daughters as part of Hillside Heritage Enterprises Inc. There will be another institution among hundreds of other properties owned across the country. But of course, as part of the adjustment process to the Hillside Heritage Enterprises Inc. culture, there will be a number of changes that will come to Rose and Daughters. We will send out the memo regarding the specifics and details of these changes, and we expect them to be followed impeccably. Glad to be leading the way for Rose and Daughters from now on. So I'm gonna have to breathe and breathe. I'm good. From Matthew, what the hell? Can I just say, first off, this is heck. Knowing that these corporations run, I wouldn't be surprised if they're monitoring our emails now. No? Okay, I don't really believe that. I'm just upset. I get that Amy didn't have much of a choice. You can only fight a huge corporation taking all your business for so long. This isn't 6 feet under. And they just swooped in, and now we have to deal with their BS practices. They're colder than the corpse I picked up from the morgue this morning. Who charges this much for funerals? Oh, I'm gonna look at that and I'm gonna be angry. Who charges this much for funerals? It feels dirty and exploitative. Let's grab a drink after work. I need to blow some steam, and emails aren't really the most appropriate place to do this. Too late for me, I guess. Jen, you're invited. Can't really write much now. I have a lot of work I have to do with an inguinal hernia from 1750. It's the oldest in our collection. You can even see this bit of paper the surgeon put in after removing the hernia. Huh. Cool, I'll send you the link when we have it catalogued. What is my life? What is that sentence I just typed? But anyway, this event that I'm forwarding you is taking place near you. Figured you'd be into it. Might help with that feeling of restlessness you were talking about before. Could be good to talk about some of the things you're feeling. Lots of death-positive people there. Sounds like a safe space. And it's a thing from Death Cafe. Come increase awareness of death with a view to helping people make the most of their finite lives. Join us, have tea and cake, and talk with others about their thoughts, fears, and illuminations on death. The founder of the Death Cafe movement, John Underwood, once said, when people talk about death and dying, it tends to illustrate their humanity. See everyone at the Upside Down Jar next Thursday. Death Cafe. And Funerals Monthly, different funeral traditions. Funeral rites, even in our own culture, maybe be something many of us may be unfamiliar with. For many people, all they know of funeral traditions are what they've seen in media. But, and I think this goes without saying, funeral rites and traditions aren't the same across the board. Different cultures have different protocols for cleaning the body to different aspects of the service itself. Religion provides different paths for dealing with a death, but the goal is almost always the same, offering support, guidance, and ease to the people who are grieving. In Judaism, interment usually begins immediately after somebody has passed. Up until burial, the body is never supposed to be alone, so often families will appoint a shomer, a guardian, to remain with the body. Preparations for burial begin as soon as possible in Muslim traditions as well. Local Islamic community organisations are also often involved and help the family make arrangements for the funeral service and burial. But not all practices are strictly religiously focused. In the Orts in South Korea, the amount of graveyard space began to shrink drastically, causing a law to be passed that required families to remove a loved one's body from its burial place after 60 years. Many families began to cremate more often, but there are also companies that compress remains into beads in turquoise, pink, or black called death beads. This also occurs in North America, Europe and Japan, but remains much more common in South Korea because of the space issued in graveyards and the expenses of cremation. And not all practices are somber either. Ever hear of the turning of the bones or famadihana, a ritual by the Malagasy people of Madagascar? Famadihana has families return to an ancestral crypt, exhume the bodies wrapped in cloth before dancing with the bodies to lively music. This practice is a celebration, remembrance, and way of keeping the deceased involved in family news. Death can be a difficult time for many people, obviously, but that doesn't mean there isn't a beauty in the ways we choose to honour and celebrate our deceased. Let's look at this. Rose and Daughters, operated by Hillside Heritage Enterprises Inc. Firstly, it's very bleak. Rose and Daughters is the newest funeral home to join Hillside Heritage, proudly serving 56 different communities nationwide since 1964. Rose and Daughters features several available packages for burials and cremations, a spacious visitation suite for added comfort, and catering available on site. Rely on our dedicated and friendly staff to help you with your funeral needs, whether you need our immediate assistance for a loved one or would like to pre-plan your own funeral arrangements. We offer many packages fitted to suit every size of gathering and budget. Ask us about our selection of caskets, urns, and headstones, the largest in the country. Funeral packages. Bronze funeral package. Why are you giving them medal things? An intimate gathering and memorial for a loved one, customised to fit your needs. Best suited for groups 25 to 50. Silver funeral package. A small but special celebration for your loved one. Best suited for groups of 50 to 100. Gold funeral package. Give your loved ones the best with the best we have to offer. A large gathering to celebrate your loved one. Best suited for groups over 100. Subject to additional fees and taxes. Oh my. Payment plans available. Call us 24/7 for a quote. I don't like Hillside Heritage. Chad Grant. Charlotte. Below are the details for our next client. Ensure you follow the requested specifications exactly. After you're done, I will review your work in order to properly evaluate you at the end of the month. Okay? Thank you, Mr. Grant, for agreeing to take care of Jocelyn's cremation. The bike accident was, well, it was more than I was expecting. I know she wanted to be cremated, and to be honest, I don't think I could bear seeing her like that after what happened. Thank you. I'm going to get fired. Because it says, follow the requested specifications exactly, and it says, I don't think I could bear seeing her like that after what happened. But it says Jocelyn wants to be cremated. So what do I do? I don't know what to do. The game's going to give me a choice, isn't it? I'll get right to it. Okay. Well, we've got to respect the dead's wishes, of course. It's what we have to do. Yeah, prepare Miss Ionesco's body for cremation. Remove the watch. Place the round identification tag in. Here we are. Miss Ionesco is all set to be cremated. And here we are. Okay. And over to the cremulator. Okay, using the cremulator will break these bone fragments down into ash-like remains again. Place the urn. There we are. There we are. And then the watch. And the identification tag. There we are. All done. Matthew will take Miss Ionesco's urn to the funeral parlour and present it alongside some flowers. Should we do a vigil at the spot? Careless drivers, I swear to God. I'm glad I'm here, but wow, I just need a glass of wine and to binge watch something right now. I have to go through all of her things. How am I supposed to decide what to keep? If you need help, I can help. No, thanks. But no. I don't know. It's so intimate. It feels like I should do it myself. She would kill me if others saw the things we have. Yeah, she was kind of a closed book, except to you. Yeah, she was special. Aww. So glad it was cremation. I would have lost it seeing her body. Aww. She was always so careful. Wore her helmet, signalled using the bike lanes. Drivers, they need to pay attention. Have you heard what's happening to the driver? No, I haven't wanted to ask Leia. It's been hard enough on them, without asking about the legal ramifications of all this. Yeah, after all this, let's see what they can do to help them. Shouldn't deal with the death of their partner all by themselves. March 24th. Just looking after the little plant on my desk. Aww. Rules and code of conduct. Charlie, I need a drink. Beer after work? Also, I really want mozzarella sticks. I can be both hungry and angry. And no, I will not say hangry ever. Okay, and it's been... Oh, the rules and conduct has been forwarded. Okay. Hello. As stated in the previous email, here are the new rules and code of conduct I expect you to follow from now on while on any premises belonging to Hillside Heritage Enterprises. First and foremost, there is a required uniform and strict dress code from now on. Second, most importantly to this, is that no tattoos are to be visible. If you have visible tattoos, ensure they're properly covered and hidden. When speaking with customers and clients, consider the opportunity to upsell. Always encourage the deceased's loved ones to purchase the higher quality package. Find that encouraging loved ones to think of the comfort and style of the deceased as an experience with no price limit on it. I hate this guy. Additionally, food is no longer allowed to be brought in. Instead, encourage the deceased loved ones to purchase our premium sandwich and appetizer food package. No. Our partner catering concepts provide high quality food that will be delivered weekly from their factory and can be easily defrosted the morning of the funeral. I expect all of the above changes to be instituted effectively immediately to ensure a smooth transition into the high quality services Hillside Heritage Enterprises Inc. is known for. Hello Charlotte, I've reviewed your request on behalf of a potential family inquiring if we at Hillside Heritage Enterprises can and will perform green burials. I should have informed you of this in the beginning, but we do not perform green burials as they are not cost effective. I hate you, Grant. I hate you so much. All employees and subsidiaries of Hillside Heritage Enterprises Inc. must comply. We do not wish to lose potential customers. So do try your hardest to convince the families requesting green burials to instead choose a traditional burial package, complete with embalming, caskets and vaults instead. I trust you will not ensure that we do not lose any customers. Dr. Zaius, I just saw a video of a gorilla walking on its hind legs. Like a human being, Charlie. A human being. We are, as a species, are seen the beginning of the end. Dr. Zaius. Home funerals, why do it? And the appeal of a home funeral is apparent for many, especially if the deceased was somebody very close to you. The idea of keeping them at home until they are ready to be buried or cremated can be comforting. It wasn't that long ago that we were taking care of our own deceased, but nowadays people are quick to pass off their loved ones to a funeral home. Most families aren't given the option and assume this is mandatory. Funeral homes will almost always prepare the deceased using embalming and other methods to make them appear more alive. But isn't this process counterintuitive to the grieving process? Being around the deceased allows the bereaved to spend a long period of time with their loved one's body, which can help mourn or give opportunities to family members and friends to see the deceased one last time before they are taken to be buried or cremated. The idea of keeping the deceased's body at home might sound gross, but it's important to understand that decomposition takes a long time, and you can further slow this process by keeping your home cool and dry. To be around your loved ones and to see them decay naturally is an important part of the grieving process. Home funerals aren't just more intimate, but they are economical. A traditional funeral, complete with body preparation, service, flowers, cards, and many other hidden costs and fees, can cost upwards of $7,000 to $10,000. When you're able to take care of your loved one yourself, to wash and dress them, and to organise their viewing from home, the only cost remaining is entirely in the cremation or burial itself. However, it's important to understand that different rules apply given on what state you live in. In all states, it is legal to have your loved one's body at home after they die. Okay? States like Alabama, Connecticut, Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, Nebraska, New Jersey, and New York require a funeral director's involvement, from signing the death certificate to overseeing burial or cremation. If this is a route you decide to go for yourself or your loved ones, make sure you follow everything by the book. But just know that this is an option available to you and your loved ones. And chat again. Okay. Charlotte, I'm proud to announce that Hillside Heritage Enterprises Inc. received a contract with the city to dispose of any unclaimed bodies. This is an important revenue stream for us, as I'm sure I don't need to explain to you, Charlotte. Although Hillside Heritage Enterprises is being paid a decent wage from the city for these services, cremation is preferred here as it's the most cost-efficient of the two options. The first unclaimed body will be a handling, belongs to a middle-aged man, possibly homeless, whose body has yet to be claimed. No special preparations are needed for this cadaver aside from cremation. Honestly, in this situation, I think this is sensible. I think cremation should be the standard, personally, but that is just my own personal experience, and of course, if anybody feels otherwise, you know, that's completely valid as well. So. But in this instance, I feel given my own personal understanding again of like how it was mentioned in South Korea, like there's limited graveyard space, and of course that is just going to affect the entire world as more and more people are born and more people die. I feel cremation is really, again, it's not a nice thing to say, but it's the most effective way to deal with our bodies after they pass. So, okay, I'll take care of it. It's going to be really sad, though, if it was unclaimed. There's not going to be anyone at the funeral. Before we cremate this gentleman, we'll need to prepare his body. He doesn't seem to have any valuables on him that would be damaged during cremation, so let's just worry about putting the identification tag into the coffin. Here we are, sir. The gentleman is all set to be cremated now. There we go. Okay, and over to the cremulator. There we go. And again, it's a very simple urn. So of course the corporation wouldn't provide nicer urns. There we are. All done. Matthew will take the urn to the funeral parlour and present it alongside some flowers. So I'm intrigued who we're presenting it to. I hate this. It's just so sad. There should always be somebody to mourn you. I'm okay. It's just look. April 9th, 19 minutes past 10. That's just... Sorry, again, just going quiet for such a long time there. It's just... Okay. From Chad Grant. Hello all. We are thrilled to announce that Hillside Heritage Enterprises Inc. subsidiary Rose & Daughters just signed a contract with Morning Valley Hospital, allowing us access to all of the cadavers that come through their paediatric and maternity wards. We're excited for the opportunity to work with Morning Valley Hospital, which intakes over 100,000 patients and receives over 15 million funding and donations. This will no doubt be a boon for Hillside Heritage Enterprises Inc. Okay, I'm done. Charlie, it's official. Put in my 2 weeks notice. You know how unhappy I am working for Mega Corporation 101. My skills, especially my driving ones, are useful in other professions. I'm not worried about myself. But you I am worried about. You're too good for this corporate scum. You actually care about the people you work with and for. Don't let them defeat you. Yes, I'll bring beers over next week. We can talk a bit more freely. From Jen, I kissed her. Dating a special effects makeup artist, and she's like the coolest person I've ever met in my life. She totally loves Ava's possession, and she was equally freaked out by the possession scenes, but so utterly delighted at the idea of a support group for people who had been possessed. That was your best recommendation in a while. Charlie, you were slipping there. I was getting worried you had lost your taste. But yeah, her name is Lily, and she's super death positive and isn't freaked out by my work. And also isn't too into it like that last dude I saw. Jason, Michael, I can't remember. I just really like spending time around her. I can talk about whatever I want, and it's never a conversation stopper. She also totally gets what I mean when I say that, like, working with death and spending so much time thinking about death actually makes me happier. Makes everything else seem so much more worth it, you know? Memento Mori, or whatever they taught us in that one poetry class we took. We just clicked. Feels good, fun and affirming, like dating should be. I'm thinking of taking her to Maple Meadows. She's super into roller coasters, and I think the idea of sharing cotton candy, or maybe not, don't want to throw up on the rides, is sickeningly cute. Or then maybe I'll kiss her on top of a Ferris wheel. Be super corny and cliche for once in my life. Or anywho, enough about me for now. I'm still kind of in shock from your last email. Do you think you're going to do it? You know you have my support 100% no matter what you decide. Wait, what? What did I decide? From Funerals Monthly. Water everywhere and not a drop to drink. Water cremation. We can call it a few different things like flameless cremation, a bit of an oxymoron, but we'll let it slide. Or perhaps more commonly, resumation. Its technical name, though it's actually alkaline hydrolysis. Whatever we want to call it, it's here, and it's an environmentally friendly alternative to traditional cremation. But for the sake of this newsletter, let's call it water cremation. We all know that traditional cremation and burials take a huge toll on the environment, the high energy consumption, that is the greenhouse gas effect being one of the chief among them, and water cremation is an alternative method available for the eco-conscious amongst. So how does it work? It's basically a water-based chemical process that uses really strong alkali and water heated up very high, about 350 Fahrenheit. Basically works like a sped-up version of natural decomposition. The excess water gets put through the same water treatment process as any sewage water at a factory, and alkaline hydrolysis uses significantly less energy than traditional cremation processes. Neat, huh? It's been around for a bit, and in some places became legal around the end of the first decade of the aughts. Not a bad alternative for those who don't want their death to have any greater impact on the environment than necessary. Okay, I might have to look more into that. Because again, like, I would want my body cremated, but if that's a more eco-friendly way to do it, then why not look into it? Home funeral for my wife, from Chad. Charlotte. I see you were not able to convince the Dimka family to take a standard funeral. I had to contact them myself in order to not lose this sale. Please read the enclosed emails for a lesson on how to properly upsell potential customers. I hate you, Chad. I hate you so much. I don't want to see that we've lost any customers because of your refusal to upsell. That is part of your job. Oh, I won't upsell. From Cuffy Dimka. Dear Mr. Grant, okay, we'll take the traditional funeral package. Thank you for considering us in this hard time. Best. From Chad. Dear Mr. Dimka, I understand your desire to keep your wife at home, but I assure you the best way to honour your wife is through a traditional funeral package instead. Don't tell him how to honour his own wife. I promise you your wife's funeral with us will be a beautiful, intimate gathering where all of her beloved friends and family can come together and say their goodbyes. A standard embalming will allow for everyone to view your wife, ensuring that everyone can see her one final time as she was. Beautiful, peaceful and courageous. Letting us take care of the food with our prepared food service will ensure you don't have to have a single thing to worry about on the day. So manipulative. You and your daughters are going through a hard time right now. Let us here at Rose and Daughters make this difficult time a little easier for you. Dear Mr. Grant, regarding the last time we spoke, my daughters and I would still prefer to host a home funeral ourselves and keep my wife here until she's ready to be buried. I just want to make sure she's taken care of. Her heart attack was so sudden. We don't know what to do. We just want to make sure she has a proper send-off. I hate Chad so much. Okay. Hello? The deceased's family has asked for an open casket funeral. Let's start by cleaning the body. Very well. Clean Miss Dimka's body. There we go. Break rigor mortis. By doing such. Insert the eye caps. But yeah, I like, seriously, upselling packages, oh, I hate it. I hate the fact that upselling is a thing in the funeral industry. It's how like, they're grieving. The families are grieving. Why would you do that? Moisturize the body. Come on, you go. I'm not very good with my mouse and keyboard, I do apologise. There we go. Make an incision around the neck. And here we go, we'll just sort this out here. Okay. Yeah, I can see our character leaving because it mentioned refusal to upsell, which I would do too. I would refuse to upsell if I were in this industry. It just doesn't feel right. It's not the ethical thing to do, in my opinion. Not ethical in any sense. There we go. And sew the incision shut. Very well. No, I do apologise. Just drain the organ. So, the kidneys and the stomach, I think that's the placement. I think that makes sense. All done. Mike will take care of Miss Dimka's makeup, as well as dressing and putting her in the casket. Okay. Hello. I'm starving. Why do these things always make me so hungry? You're always hungry. It's so cold in here. I think they have the air conditioning on too high. No. Let's go for a walk later. It's really nice out. Would be good to stretch my legs. Do you think we did the right thing? I feel bad not doing what Mum asked for. Oh. I know, honey, but what that Chad guy said seems right. We don't want to dishonour her memory by letting her... She wasn't gonna... She She wasn't going to rot. Decomposition takes a long time. I'm hating Chad more and more by the second. Yeah, I just want Mum to know I loved her. Wish I hadn't yelled at her before. Shh, it's okay. She knew. And she knew that you loved her. Fights happen. Please don't be hard on yourself. I'm going to miss her. Me too. This feels so impersonal. She would have hated this. But I don't know. They must have had their reasons. Hey, what do you think of the trailer I sent you? I've heard the show is good. I saw that video of the one kid acting doing karaoke. I'm sorry. I'm sorry we couldn't do a home funeral. August 30th, 9 AM sharp. Oh! Am I in a museum? Okay. From Amy, congratulations. Charlie dear, I'm so proud of you. I knew there was something special in you when I hired you for Frozen Daughters. If there's anything I can do for you, please do not hesitate to ask. I'm always happy to help. Best wishes, Amy. P.S. I sorely miss you and Matthew's terrible sense of humour. From Matthew, you'll never believe what new job I got. Ooh. Charlie, when I first became a hearse driver, I was told that my most important job wasn't steering. It was sympathising. I respectfully disagree. And thankfully, I concentrated on my driving skills since I'm now working as a, wait for it, bus driver. A school bus driver, Charlie. Can you believe that? Pretty sure if I said the most important part of my job now wasn't steering, I'd be fired immediately. I don't know how else to tell you. For some reason, I was worried you'd think less of me. But I don't know why. You've never been the judgmental kind. And besides, corpses are way easier to deal with than children. Screaming children, might I add. I actually love it. These kids can be pretty cute, but don't tell Amy that I told you that. She was always harping on at me for not having kids and for being all cynical about them. Congrats on your new business, Charlie. I'm proud of you. I'll swing by your new place one day and show you my new wheels. Maybe we can grab a bite to eat. From Jen, congratulations on business. Charlie, I'm so happy for you. I know it's been a rough year for you. Seriously, I think our wine intake saw a bazillion% increase, but you stuck through it all like a champ. You deserve this. Finally being your own boss is a great move for you. No more having to explain anything you don't want to. I'm trying to not be too cheesy right now. Can't wait to be home next week for our visit and check out your new place. Always, Jen. P.S. Have you heard about those green burial pods? When I find the link in my 1 million open tabs, I'll shoot it over to you. And Eileen! From Eileen. Dear Charlie, today's the day already, isn't it? Can't believe how quickly this has come up. Thank you for understanding and for your work. You've made today easier already. See you at 1. Okay. Magnolia Forest. Funeral home and natural burial park? Yes. Our services. Magnolia Forest, named after the magnolia trees that surround the funeral home, specialises in at-home funerals and green burials in our natural burial park. Our goal is to empower families and encourage them to have a close relationship with death and the dying process. The death of a loved one can be a confusing and sometimes traumatic time, and we want you to feel fully involved in your loved one's death care decisions. Whether you're looking to care for your loved one from the comfort of your home, be present during their cremation, or bury them in our natural cemetery, I do apologise. Magnolia Forest is here to work with you and provide these simple but intimate and meaningful options. Natural Burial Park. Our natural burial park allows your body to return to the earth and recycle naturally. It's intended as an environmentally sustainable alternative to existing funeral practices. Our park has room for bodies of all sizes and ages, as well as beloved pets. Families also have the option to bury their loved ones themselves, if they so choose. Prices. We believe in being transparent about our prices and practices. We are happy to explain all of our prices, work within your budget, and hope to make you feel comfortable and confident in your decisions. Let us know if we can answer any of your questions. Home funeral, $1,000, all inclusive. Green burial and service, $2,250 for adults, all inclusive. Infants are buried at no charge. We can provide a 3x3 plot and help opening and closing the grave. That's extremely nice of them. Direct cremation, $600, all inclusive. Okay, I'll see you soon. There we are. Aww. This hurts. I thought it'd be easier, but it's not. It hurts so much, but thank you for helping me give her the funeral she always wanted. Anyway, I think we're ready to get started now. A Mortician's Tale. Created by all these wonderful people. I apologise for having to stop for a second while I kind of just fell apart at the end. Just coughing and a little bit crying. I did have to edit a little there. I'm sorry about that. Special thanks to friends and families and everybody here The pets: Meredith, Bastion, Bee, Future, Luna, and Tyler. All wonderful names for doggos and cattos, and all friends. Made using Unity and Fmod. Made possible with support from the Ontario Arts Council. In memory of Elaine D'Arenzio, Emil Engelman, and Camille Kolodzic. I apologise massively for mispronouncing anyone's names. Thank you for playing. Thank you for making a beautiful game that has made me think very deeply about life, death, and what we do with our life and death. I don't quite know what to say, really. I touched upon quite a few things in this video, and really all I have to say is I'm sorry. All I really have to say is this is a beautiful game. And I'm getting extremely emotional, so I think I'm just going to have to leave it there. I'm so sorry for having to just stop right here. Many things going through my mind right now, but ultimately it would all just come out as a ramble and a jumble. So, a beautiful game. I cannot recommend Morticians Tale highly enough. It's truly a piece of art. Absolute art. Unfortunately, it does come to that shield, but I'm not gonna do a shield bit. So heck you, shield bit of this video. Instead, I'm gonna say, go hug a loved one. Tell them that you love them, and never let them go. Because we've only got a limited time on this earth, and it should not be spent shielding. It should be spent hugging and telling people that you love them, and never letting them go. I'm gonna go tell Loki that I loved him ever so much. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful evening, and indeed, a good night.